Welcome back to my writer's room, everyone. I am Matt Wallace, YouTube's resident angry writer, and thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to come hang out with me here in my angry, lonely little writerly sanctum. I always appreciate that, I really do. Me not being naked on the vlog is brought to you, as always, by our t-shirt of the day. Today I've got what I refer to as my Captain America Iron Man / fiction t-shirts. Which, because, you know, I mean, come on. It is January 29th, 2018. It's Monday. You've made it. You've rebooted. You have a chance to do it better, faster, stronger than you did last week, and I know you all will. You're all going to hit the ground running this week, and you're going to steamroll that bastard. I have total confidence in each and every member of Team Hamshackle watching this video. Speaking of Hamshackle, you can see Hamshackle Pig there is standing in quiet awe of his, that's his Employee of the Month plaque. It's my attempt at creating one. I used two different pens to create this masterful illustration. That's how much effort I put in for all of you out there. But yeah, that's his little Employee of the Month plaque with his little picture on it. And he's just he's digging that. He's feeling rewarded. He's feeling special. He's feeling like he won a small everyday victory, you know, not a crushing life achievement, nothing scratched off the bucket list, but, you know, it's nice to have those little post markers in the road along this thing we call life. And I'll get to why I drew this in just a minute here. So check that out. That is a sight to behold, my friends. If you're not clear what you're looking at, hi. This is all 7 of my Sin du Jour books together for the first time in their printed forms. This is the complete set, the complete series, together for the first time. This is still, I unveiled this last week. This is an ARC of Taste of Wrath, the final Sin du Jour book that's coming out in April. So it's not the finished final paperback, but it is the paperback version. And yeah, so for the first time, I get to hold these in my hand and show them to you. This is the whole series. This is a story that took me 4 years to write and almost that long to publish by Tor.com Publishing, my intrepid Pirates crew of publishers who've been putting these books out and doing, you know, such an amazing job with each and every one of them, you know, from the fantastic cover art to the great production to the top quality editing, both line and copy editing within, and just, yeah, man, I don't even know what to say. It's an incredible thing. I did a whole vlog last week about what it means to write and publish a book, but I just had to I could not show you the whole series together for the first time. This is what it's going to look like when you put the whole Sin du Jour saga on your shelf. We're talking about doing boxes and box sets and collected editions. I don't know how all that's going to shake out. I'll let you know as soon as I do. But for now, I'm just thrilled that that I was able to tell this whole story, that I was able to write the whole thing and finish it and make it the way I wanted. And I'm amazed and still a little baffled by the fact that Tor.com Publishing has taken the whole ride with me, and they're going to put out the 7th and final book, and we will have finished the series together. I'm grateful to Tor.com Publishing, Irene Gallo, associate publisher, my editor, Lee Harris, the whole crew there. I'm absolutely grateful to them for believing in me in the series. I think we've done an incredible thing. I really do. You know, in this new kind of novella model, the shorter books that everybody's trying, I can't think of a series of 7 that's been put out by a major publisher yet. You know, in a modern context. Again, this is nothing new. They've been doing novellas for forever, but since kind of the resurgence where mainstream publishers are trying to get back into that model, I think it's a hell of a thing. And, you know, it's never going to break any sales records. I have a very thin hope that maybe the series will get recognized at the Hugos next year now that they have the best series category, which this will qualify for when Taste of Wrath comes out this year. I doubt it, though, because these just aren't the kind of books that generally get acknowledged at awards. You know, they kind of ride that line of, like, comedy and urban fantasy are two things that that awards don't usually go for. You know, ask Terry Pratchett. He waited his whole life to get nominated for a Hugo, and by the time he did, he turned it down because he was afraid he'd be so nervous it would ruin the convention for him that the awards were being held at. It's a true story. That actually happened. So I'm not so worried about that. I'm just proud the thing exists. And if you've been reading along, or you've read it all, or just you've signal boosted or bought a book or left a review, all those vital things that give life's blood to a book series, I want to thank you for doing that. If you still like to do that, there's plenty of time to go check out the series and get caught up before the final book comes out. Buy the books, tell a friend, leave a review, leave a rating on Amazon or Goodreads. All those things are immensely helpful, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, but that's it, man. That's the end of the road. We've walked it together, and we're coming to an end, which of course will just be a new beginning. We'll move on to new stuff. But this is Sin du Jour, body, blood, and soul, right here in my hands for the first time ever, and that's a hell of a thing. So I want to talk a little bit about failure. Failure is defined as attempting to do a thing and not succeeding in accomplishing your goals in doing that thing. At least that's, I think, is a fair definition. I'm not going to go get the dictionary, but I think we can operate on that as a pretty solid thesis. And that's how I view what failure is. It's making an attempt and failing to achieve your goals. For example, I consider my pro wrestling career a failure, and I say that because I did not achieve all the goals that I set out to achieve in having a pro wrestling career. I don't consider myself a failed professional wrestler. Two different things. Failed pro wrestling career, successful pro wrestler, because I became a pro wrestler. That was that goal. That goal was just to see, as a very young man, could I go out and achieve this very rarefied thing in this very rarefied profession? Could I do it for real? Could I live out the thing that I'd been a fan of ever since I was a very little kid? And I did that. I was a professional wrestler for 10 years. I was a student of the craft. I felt I mastered it to a fairly competent degree. I don't claim to have been a brilliant pro wrestler, but I could hang. I will give myself that all day. I could hang with whoever you could put me in there with. I did become a successful pro wrestler. I did not have a successful pro wrestling career because I didn't achieve the monetary success, the perceptual success, either my perception or others, and I didn't achieve the longevity. Most important thing that I set out to achieve, because I retired at 25 and I moved on. And the thing is, since I've retired and I am old and fat and gray now for by the standards of pro wrestling, I will never achieve those goals. So I can say definitively, my career as a pro wrestler was a failure. But I was a successful pro wrestler because that goal was achieved. I became what I set out to become. I just did not have the career I wanted to have after I became that thing. So that's just to give you a view of like how I view both failure and how I view success and failure in relation to myself and how I pursue my goals. So today, the January edition of my company's newsletter came out. This is the new company that I've been working for since January 2nd, and I've talked a lot about it on the vlog here. Everybody's been real supportive and congratulatory, and I really appreciate that. But so every month, my company does a newsletter which reports on inter-office stuff, what the company's working on, how projects are going, and then personal stuff and little anecdotes about people in the company. It's a nice little thing that our project manager spearheads, and it's this was the first time I'd seen it because it's, again, I'm 3 weeks in. But in the company newsletter, they did a really nice little piece on me as their new content strategist. And, you know, here's Matt, and here's where he comes from, and this is what he's doing for us, and we're really proud to have him on board. Talked about my books and Taste of Wrath coming out in April, and just it made me sound really impressive and important and part of the team, and I dug it. I appreciated it. More to the point, I felt pride. I felt proud of myself and how I was being talked about, and pride in what I'm doing, and the fact that I found this new job and landed it, and thus far, though it's early on, I'm doing very well at it. The people are digging me. They're digging my writing. I already feel like I'm a valuable part of the team. That's a very cool thing. What's interesting about that is, and if you heard me talk about the new job in this vlog, I've been very positive about it. I've been very upbeat and very clear that this is just one part of me trying to take my overall writing career to a new plateau. You know, this is giving me a monetary base where I don't have to worry about generating freelance income anymore, so I can focus on my bigger projects, my books, and my television projects that I'm pitching. And I made it very clear that this is just one step in a process to take my career to a new plateau, and I was very positive about it. And none of that was untrue. That's all absolutely according to Hoyle gospel. It's the absolute truth. What the part that I de-emphasized for myself was how much I did feel like a failure in having to pursue and accept this position. Though I love the company I'm working for and I enjoy the work that I'm doing very much, I'm grateful to have this, and I'm proud of the job that I have, because it's not a little thing. It's a very high level marketing job for an amazing company working on very high level marketing projects, and that's they don't just hand those things out at the bus stop. So I was proud that I was able to land that, and I'm proud to work for this company. But what necessitated me pursuing and accepting this position is undeniably the fact that I was not making enough money with my book sales to support my family and give us the life that I want us to have, to enable us to do the traveling we want to do, to fix up the house, the new house the way we want to fix it up, to have the security that we need to have, to give my wife the freedom to do things that she wants to do. I wasn't making enough for my book sales to cover all that, and I wasn't making enough progress with the screenwriting side of things. I wasn't making any progress, to be honest with you. The last year was very hard. I'd pitch things and I'd get very cold rejections, and I just wasn't making any headway. And the rest of my book stuff wasn't coming along fast enough to supplement that. So I had to go out and get a day job to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish for myself and for my family in life. And though I was successful in doing that, it did make me feel like a failure as an author and as a screenwriter and as a freelance writer, as a writer in command of their own destiny who writes only the things they want to write and writes fiction for a living. I felt like I had failed at that to a very large degree. But here's the rub with that. And I say this for people grappling with those feelings of failure out there. I know a lot of you are, and we don't like to talk about it. We really don't. I don't like sitting here and talking about it. I hate saying the phrase, I am a failure, I felt like a failure. It hurts. It physically hurts me to say that. I'm so competitive and I take such pride in what I do that it just, on a visceral level, it twists my guts into a knot to even consider that thing. But it's the truth. And for a long time before I got this job, I felt like a failure at what I was doing. It wasn't just having to take this job that did it. There were the last few years, in fact, with just things, me working very hard at what I do, but just the things not coming together and bringing me the career advancement and the monetary stability that I was seeking. I felt like a failure for a very long time. Now, this job has relieved some of that, but the job itself brought with it a new sense of failure, almost like a giving up. Even though I made it clear on this blog and on Twitter and to everybody who asked, I'm not giving up on anything. I'm only pushing it harder. And that's the absolute truth. It still felt like a defeat. And that's the thing. That's the rub in calling it a failure. Because I'm not adhering to my own definitions and my own standards of what failure is. I'm not. I'm ignoring that because of my ego and my emotions for the thing. The reason I can't be a failure in doing this is because, unlike my wrestling career, my freelance writing career is not over. The story has not been told. It's still ongoing. I can't fail at a thing I'm still attempting to do. It doesn't work that way. You can suffer defeats. You can suffer losses, and you could categorize it as that. But it's not a failure, and I am not a failure. That is my bruised ego talking, and that damn ego just has so much to say on so many topics when we wish it would just shut the hell up. But that's the objective truth, and that's something that I need to keep in front of me and keep focused on as I go forward with everything that I'm doing. Is this was not a failure, and it's absurd to think of it that way. What I was suffering before was not failure. I was suffering defeat. I was suffering constant rejection and defeat at my short-term goals. This new job is a victory, man. This turned all that around. This is not a failure or defeat. This is a victory. And it's going to give me the momentum to create more victories on more fronts, like my books and my TV projects, going forward. And that's the story that we're still telling. So that's just, I wanted to talk about that today, and I wanted to hopefully, if you're out there and you felt the ways I'm talking about, or are feeling the ways I'm talking about yourself, your career, whatever you're pursuing, I wanted to hopefully tweak your perspective on that the way that I need to tweak mine, which is to look at the overview, look at what failure really is as a thing, and realize that we're still telling the story, man. The fight is ongoing. The race has not been run. It's not over. And as long as it's not over, you can't have failed. So... And another thing that prompted this was advice I was given on Twitter just this week to Michelle Reed, who's a viewer of the vlog here and a follower of mine on Twitter, and she was grappling with a lot of these things. And my simple, direct, honest advice to Michelle, and the thing I think is always valid, is just don't quit, man. Especially when it comes to writing. Success in writing and freelance writing and fiction is just a product of not quitting. That's all it is. And I will eschew everything else. I'll eschew talent and hard work and persistence. All of those are great qualities. All of them are necessary. But more than anything else, it's just not quitting. As long as you keep doing it and keep turning stuff out and keep working on it and keep submitting and keep going after agents and publishers and keep going after readers. As long as you don't give up on that stuff, eventually you're going to get to the place you want to get to, or a better place than you're at now. And that's all it's about. As long as you don't quit, you haven't failed. So that's, I know that's not maybe that's not a terribly complex lesson for Monday, but I thought especially for Monday, the way most of us feel on Mondays, the way I felt this morning, and my wife felt this morning when we got up and both had to go to work, I think it's a relevant one. I think it was one worth talking about and worth exploring. I hope you do too. All right, folks, that's it for today. I am on my lunch break here, and I need to get back to work. So I need to keep pursuing those short-term victories because they lead to total domination in the end. So that's what I'm going to do. What you're going to do is have the best damn week you could possibly have, any way you can have it. If you can't have it at work, have it at home. If you can't have it at home, have it at work. If you can't do either of those, go out and get a piece of cake. Seriously. Go out, find the best piece of cake in your area, find out where they make the best cake, go get a slice of it. It'll turn things around immediately. Cake is always a refuge. Don't eat too much of it. I will say, moderation in all things, obviously. Go out and get yourself a piece of cake. If that's the only victory you can attain this week, it will have been a worthwhile one. A lot of good things going on this week in addition to the vlog. I'm here every weekday as usual. Nikki and I shot a new unboxing video. It is makeup, your favorite of mine. She did a comparison of Ipsy's Glam Bag versus BoxyCharm. We wore these really horrifying face masks, and she drew an evil mustache on me, and it was very funny. I was editing it yesterday. I think it's going to be great, and I think you'll all enjoy it. I'm working on a bunch of other stuff. I'm going to have more writing videos up. I'm going to have the next edition of The Ways I Lie is going to be up very soon, I promise, for people who've been waiting for that. And yeah, we're doing it all on Angry Writer. We're almost at 400 subscribers. I think we're like 2 away, literally, as I shoot this. 2 away from our first 400, which means we're that much closer to our first 500, which means we're that much closer to our first 1,000, and then we're off to the races. Not that we're not already running, but yeah, so tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the video, what you thought of the video, what you think of the vlog, what you think of the channel. Ask me a question, suggest a topic for me to talk about. Just let me hear from you. I love hearing from you. Until next time, I am Matt Wallace. Have a great week. I will see you tomorrow.